I just marinated it in plastic. We don't like plastic, we like glass. Why do we care about all this plastic? What's the big deal?
It's a toxic bomb.
Our whole practice is based on getting you to be the best version of yourself.
Remove the crappy foods, the wheat, the dairy, the sugar.
Everything we do is based in the medical literature and evidence-based medicine. We're going to look at how to get you healthy, not how to get you on medicines, how to get you off medicine. There's a couple of very curious things that CBD oil does, helping people with migraine headaches reduce the frequency and intensity of their headache. People that have ADD or ADHD, anxiety or mood swings or depression, these things can help decrease anxiety and make a child more calm. Lyme has been found from coast to coast. 50% of all counties in the United States have Lyme disease documented. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? Dr. Gary Huber, Chelsea Caito back with you for another edition. And we're going back into keto. If you remember, a month ago, we sat down and we talked about the ketogenic diet. What was it? And kind of an overview. And we said, we're going to give you more detail later. Today's more detail.
Here we are.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about, we're going to talk about some of the problems we see people run into. And we're going to give a very clear idea of what am I supposed to eat. And then yes, we're going to teach you how to cheat. Now, I don't promote cheating, but I'm a realist and I know this is a real world and there's going to be times when you do that. So if you tuned in just to hear how to cheat, I'm going to make you wait and get through the good stuff later.
And we don't have a magic pill, right? There's no magic pill
no
that
magic
we can give
pill.
you.
Well, there is semi-magic pill.
Semi-magic.
But let's get to brass tacks, because we didn't talk about numbers before. And we said a ketogenic diet is 70% of your diet is fat, and some of you are going, well, how do I know if it's 70? How do I calculate that?
It's a lot of fat.
And how many, we said less than 50 grams of carb. And again, each individual, when they come up and sit down with you, you're going to tell them, based on your lifestyle, your exercise pattern, your weight, these are your numbers, okay?
Yeah.
Because it can vary from person to person, so Chelsea can help you with that. We talk about less than 50 grams of carb, and we're not going to get into net carbs and taking total carbs and too much, all right? So just how many carbs are in all the foods you're eating. We're saying less than 50. Now, does that apply to everybody? If you're a type 2 diabetic,
we would say go a little bit lower.
Yeah.
We really need to kind of, I call it like a blood sugar boot camp. We need to retrain those cells how to take in that sugar. So if you're type 2, and they would work with us, but we really gotta go a little bit lower on the carb. That will just kind of kickstart things even more.
So if you're type 2 diabetic, you may need to get below 35 for a while. Now, having said that, are we gonna take them below 35 week 1?
Oh, heck no. No. That's a step-by-step process.
So let's say somebody's eating the traditional American diet and you're getting 150 grams of carb and you're eating bread and crackers and all this stuff. I don't want you going from 150 down to 50.
No.
I want you going from 150 to...
We would do 100. We would do that for a week or two. Then we would go to 75 and then 50. And what can happen is called the Keto Flu, which we've all heard.
We avoid that.
We've never had a patient who's had the Keto Flu because we avoid that instead of just diving right into everything.
So counting carbs can be a pain in the tuchus a little bit, but you know what? You do it for a week or two, you get an idea where the carbs are, and then it's very easy to avoid them. And you can work with patients, you use an app and help them count. And once you get an idea where the carbs are coming from, it becomes very second nature on how not to get them into your diet. So that's important, getting carb count under control, under 50. And realistically, remember, we said initially, eat as many vegetables as you want, eat as much meat as you like, get lots of fat, lots of eggs, nuts and seeds.
You can easily eat 6 or 7 servings of vegetables and you might be at 55 or 60 grams of carbs.
Oh, I doubt it.
7 servings of vegetables, I mean, that's a ton. You could eat a whole head of broccoli, a whole head of cauliflower. You won't be able to eat that much. It would be so filling with all the fiber.
You'd be very alone because you'd have so much gas.
Lots of toots,
All right. So that's kind of the carbs. The fat becomes a bigger issue. Like 70% of my calories are going to come from fat. Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of fat.
How do I get that in? So we want to share with you some of the things. So as I've been doing this for over 6 months now, and I got a very good sense of how many fat grams I'm getting in. But when I first started, it was, I really had to sit down with pen and paper and kind of calculate. So just to give you a rough idea, on fat, how many grams of fat? We're looking for between 80 to 130. Not very many people are going to be at 130. Most people are going to nestle in right around 100 grams of fat. So we're going to kind of target that as where we want to go. And then in a minute, Chris is going to put up a graphic to kind of show you what a day might look like. But talk about, this is what your kitchen starts to look like. We want fatty products in our kitchen.
Absolutely.
So what do you got?
I mean, if you think 70% of your calories are coming from here, you've got it right when you leave my appointment, you've got to go to the grocery store and get some fat.
Absolutely.
So my favorite things, ghee, good old ghee, Ghee. It's a clarified butter, so
which means
it doesn't have those dairy proteins in there. So
right.
if you're highly allergic to dairy, still avoid. But if you got a little bit of a sensitivity, this is a great option.
And it tastes like butter.
It's so amazing. It's great. Tastes great in your coffee.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this mixed nut butter. I got this at Trader Joe's, but the ingredients are almonds, cashews, walnuts, Brazil nuts, pecans, and sea salt.
A lot of nuts.
A lot of nuts for 2 tablespoons, 18 grams of fat.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. And think just 2 tablespoons. Yeah.
And if anybody out there is still thinking, oh my God, fat's going to give me a heart attack. No. We talked about that the first time. Nay. You're going to become a fat burning machine, and this is going to lower your cholesterol. It's
a mindset change.
It is.
It would be like someone telling me vegetables are bad for you, and I'd say, are you sure? Are you sure?
You would explode.
I would explode. So my favorite, and hopefully Chris puts up a graphic, this coconut cream, which you can get at Kroger.
You want him to put up the moose poop?
The moose, yeah. Dr. Eber thinks it looks like poop, but it's great. So this puppy, 17 grams of fat for 1/3 of a cup. That's a lot of fat.
Yeah.
Mix that with some Hershey's cocoa powder, stevia, vanilla extract, and you've got pudding, and you've got fat, and 1 gram of sugar. That's it. Not a lot.
Excellent.
So
now, just a reminder, just to go back to our first video a little bit, when I'm eating all this fat, my appetite stays very well controlled. And we've had people now that have been on it 2, 3, 4 months, and they're coming in going, oh my gosh.
I'm fat adapted.
My sugar cravings abated. My appetite's very well controlled. The guy the other day said he was running around in meetings and out of town. He goes, you know what? I didn't get a chance to eat for almost 20 hours. And he goes,
oh, wow.
Wasn't that big a deal. So again, you're able to go do some intermittent fasting, but it's amazing how good the appetite's controlled, and we're trying to get to 100 grams of fat.
Yep.
So when we talk about 14 grams or 18 grams, remember, we're trying to get 100 grams of fat, because when you do that, your body will go, thank you very much, those are the calories I want.
When you do get hungry, don't you feel it's a different kind of hungry? It's not a hangry, it's just a little, oh, I'm hungry, but I can go a few more hours, versus if you have cereal for breakfast,
much more stable.
You're shaky and you're saying, I need some M&Ms. So
we've got ghee, and we've got some almond butter mixed butter or nut butters. We've got nuts. This is one of the snacks that I always bring to work in my stainless steel because I hate plastic. So I bring in sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, high fat content and a good amount of fiber as well, a little bit of carb. So you're going to want to have those in your kitchen. We've got the coconut oil. What else?
Real butter. We've got grapeseed oil, which you can get at Kroger. Tons of good fats there. And an easy way that you can add fat is just put this on your salad, on your meats. Anytime you're eating, think, where's the fat?
So let's talk about oils for a second. So grapeseed oil is fine. Avocado oil.
Yes.
Awesome. Olive oil.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Coconut oil.
Great.
Excellent. Coconut milk. How is coconut milk different from coconut oil?
Good question. So coconut oil in the cold section, it has no fat. So there's an actual coconut milk. If you take out all of that fat, you just get this thin liquid.
Yeah.
So whereas you can buy coconut milk from the can and it's got all the fat in it. That's what you want.
You don't want low-fat coconut milk.
No.
That would be an oxymoron. That's
yes.
like military intelligence, right?
There you go.
I'm sorry. Anybody in the military, I'm just joking around.
We don't want coconut milk because
right.
I mean, it's okay to have, but you're getting no fat. And
Chelsea,
it kind of tastes
this is
bad.
real butter.
It's real butter.
Okay.
Yes.
So again, these are the things we're going to go to commonly, frequently, and persistently.
Yep.
What about one of my favorites?
MCT oil. I have seen you take a swig of this and just down it, and that's a little intense for me. But I tried it myself. You can't taste it at all.
It tastes like thick water.
That's it. You're 100% right. But.
And I put it in my coffee, or if I have a coffee, let's say I ran by Starbucks and just grabbed the black coffee. I don't get stuff with sugar in it. But I didn't get any fat in it. I'll come to work and I'll drink it, or just pour this in my coffee.
You really can't taste it.
So that's how we're going to get a lot of our fats. Chris, I'm going to have you put up that graphic of the kind of the fat intake through the day. And these are just some ideas. This is kind of some of the things that I reach for consistently as I go through my day. At the very top. Again, we're looking for about 100 grams of fat. Coffee with 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. That's 14 grams. I might have a couple of eggs fried in butter. Look at all the fat that comes in that butter. So combined, we get 34 grams of fat. An avocado, half an avocado with 8 olives, 14 grams. One of my favorite snacks. I have it not every day, but almost. Celery stalks, a couple of them with almond butter, another 16 grams. Maybe for lunch I have a nice big salad, a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And look at that, 2 tablespoons of olive oil gives me 28 grams of fat. I have a 6-ounce pork chop perhaps, that's another 6 grams of fat. Notice how little fat is in meat,
Not a lot.
relative to how much fat is in nuts and seeds and butters and the like, okay?
Absolutely.
Maybe another side salad. So everything shown there is like 128 grams. Now maybe you're only shooting for 80 or 90, but I want to give you an idea of how am I going to get the 70% fat in my diet. That's kind of just some pick and choose options as you go through your day, okay? All right.
Moving on to the mindset, which is...
Do you want to do mindset or do you want to talk about cheating?
Oh, cheating. Well, let's talk about cheating.
All right.
How do I cheat?
So, it was Father's Day, all right? And so we went out for a nice dinner. And I'm going out thinking, I might just have whatever I feel like having.
It's Father's Day.
And we'll get back to mindset because realistically, I don't feel deprived when I eat this way. I don't feel hungry. I get plenty of food. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But it's Father's Day, it's a celebration. Maybe it's your birthday, maybe it's a holiday. You're going to go out and you're going to get something. You're going to intentionally cheat. Hopefully, and what we typically see is as people adopt this as a lifestyle over time, you don't feel like you need or want to cheat. And what you'll notice is when you do cheat, you don't feel so good.
Yeah.
And feeling good is very addictive. Having energy and good sleep and your joints not hurting is very addictive. But we do want to help people in that early phase, not to cheat too often, but if they want to, what can they do? Number one, we use glycogen in our muscles and our liver. We have about 500 grams of glycogen stored in our body. That's our emergency energy. It's there for the cavemen to fight off beasts and to carry heavy rocks and to do very energetic things, but there's only 500 grams. So that's about 2,000 calories. If I go out for a strong exertional workout, I could burn off 1,000 calories in an hour easily, right? Maybe you burn off 2,000 calories. That's very possible. But your glycogen stores just got depleted. There's a window of opportunity there. If I go out and do let's say you and I are going to go out tonight and I want to have sushi and red wine and all kinds, carbs. If I go do an intense workout
Before, saying. Okay.
And I deplete my glycogen stores, when I go to that carb meal, rather than my body starting to burn them as fuel, it begins to store them as glycogen.
It's kind of like a gas tank.
Yep.
You want to go on E and then go to the restaurant.
If I didn't exercise and just walked into that big sushi red wine meal, my body, I would stop burning ketones. I would stop my fat burning because my body says, look at all these carbs. Let's burn them as fuel. We don't do that. We use them, we store them as glycogen. So it's a one excellent, ideal cheat.
And you can't outrun a bad diet, but if you're going to intentionally indulge, that's a great way to kind of go around it, right?
Yep.
And I hear so many of my patients, they'll say, well, I went on vacation and I didn't eat the best, but we walked a lot. You know, they would say, I walked 20,000 steps.
Yeah.
And they maintained their weight and they're shocked because they did cheat a little bit. But that's a perfect example. They're walking versus usually they're sitting down all day. So
the weekend's coming and you want to go cheat, exercise aggressively before that meal, and you're just going to absorb it as glycogen and not stop your fat burning, okay?
Perfect.
Number two, well, I didn't have the time to exercise, or it didn't work out, or I just didn't want to, or couldn't, whatever. There's a product we have, well, I don't have it in front of you. Chris is going to put up a picture of it. It's called Carb Down. And Carb Down has been around for a long time. It's the brand name is called Phase 2. So a lot of products, this one's by Da Vinci. This is one that I like. It has kidney bean extract in there. And what this does, it blocks your amylase. You have amylase in your gut to break down carbs. It kind of blocks the amylase from working. So I'm eating the carb, I'm eating the sushi, I'm eating the bread or the cracker, but my body's not digesting it into sugars or absorbing it.
So it kind of blunts the blood sugar spike.
Blunts the blood sugar spike, and it will blunt to about 60%. So you're not going to blunt all of it, which you don't want anyway, but you're going to blunt about 60%. So now I'm at the restaurant, I'm having my sushi or my bread or whatever, but 60% of what I ate, I got a free pass on. The body's not going to break it down. And so again, that can blunt the caloric load of carb that would otherwise throw you out of ketosis.
And so we tell patients that bottle should last you a year. I mean, that's not a let me have this every time I eat type of mindset.
If you're doing that every day, if you're doing that every week, we've got bigger issues.
Problems, Okay. So just use this at a special occasion.
Special occasions. And if you use it a lot, you could get diarrhea, you could even get nutritional deficiencies.
Yeah, so don't want to use that too often.
No, but it's a nice little get out of jail free card on those occasions when you want to have a little something at your birthday. You're going to have that cake, have the carb down.
Yep.
Now, Cheat number 3 is kind of attached to cheat number 2 in the sense that I said cake and I said bread. Let's say I'm going to cheat on sushi, which is a lot of white rice.
No wheat in
but
there.
no wheat. All I need is my carb down, and if I did my workout beforehand, I am golden. I'm not going to drop out of ketosis. I'm going to stay right in ketosis. But what if I go to eat bread,
The
wheat, cake, that kind of stuff? There's a different product we have. It's called Kirkman's. It's got a DPPIV or DPP4. Don't worry about the technicality. But it's a certain type of enzyme, and Chris is going to throw up a picture of it here. I use that. I've been using that for years on my patients that struggle with wheat because I know, look, we're going to teach you and help you and guide you to the point that I don't like wheat. I don't look for wheat. I can ignore wheat.
You're not missing it.
But it takes time to develop that mindset. We're going to talk about mindset. But in the early stages, it can be a challenge. And we've had people say, I can't imagine life without bread.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you're going to have that, at least this particular enzyme, it has that specific enzyme, the DPP4, can break down the gluten peptides. Your body cannot break down gluten. Yours can't either. Mine can't. So the human body can't break down gluten. This can help dissolve those peptides so that we don't get the nasty effects of gluten, which if you have celiacs, we're not talking about that. But we're talking people that have wheat sensitivity and that every time they eat wheat, they get bloated or they get joint pain. This can help break it down.
So you would do this 15 minutes before you knew you were going to have your pizza, right?
Yeah,
And then
2 of those and maybe 2 of the carb down and then have my cheat meal. And at least
you're golden.
At least we've reduced some of the penalty of that meal.
Some of the punch.
Yep.
Some of the punch. So again, these aren't magic pills, but they really help aid, and you can allow a little bit more cheat, a little bit more flexibility with these.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're saying.
And I wouldn't recommend this every day as a digestive enzyme because that also has a negative impact on the incretin hormones, which are part of our glucose management.
Oh.
So if I have them once in a while to protect me from the effects of wheat, not a big deal. But I don't want to eat those on a daily basis.
Okay.
That could create blood sugar problems, okay? Don't worry about that if you're using it once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that.
So let's transition to the mindset because that is 90% of this. We could talk all day long about the macros and
here's what
the
you eat and here's how.
exercise, but we so commonly hear that people are a little intimidated by this, going no carb or low carb, and it's scary for some, and I totally get it. Again, it would be like if someone told you broccoli's bad, guess what?
Yeah.
You'd be like, what?
Yeah.
It's intimidating. So what are your tips for mindset change? I know I have a ton, but I mean, what would you tell
them about, we have a lovely patient that we both adore that's been with us for a while, and she made a very robust statement to you the other day.
Yeah, I'm very scared. She said, scared. I said, what are you scared of? And she said, I'm very scared to think that I could never have bread again. Just terrified was pretty much the word she used. So I love the example that you use as far as the crack cocaine.
Of course, we all smoke a little crack cocaine.
Putting it into the category of it's a mindset. You shouldn't.
Well, I think you're broaching that topic of willpower. Okay, when people say I can't imagine never having bread again, well, you don't have to. Right? We just told you how you could have bread again occasionally, and I think it's getting away from that fear component. We get so used to our life and our habits and our little cage that we put ourselves in. We put ourselves in a cage based on our belief system. And we have a belief system that says life isn't worth living without bread. And then when we're told we're going to take that away, people go into kind of a panic.
Scary.
And they think, I don't know if I have the willpower to stay away from bread. And one of the things you and I are constantly revisiting with our patients, it has nothing to do with willpower. Willpower will fail you. Willpower is a short-term
It's totally
tool.
a mindset, absolutely.
It has to be a belief. It has to be a belief system. And so what Chelsea was alluding to with her crack cocaine
I was going to say, we
habit-
just kind of left him hanging.
Yeah, left him hanging. No, but I jokingly say this in lecture often. I'll say, well, how often do you smoke crack cocaine? And of course everybody goes, well, I would never do that. Why not? It's just like wheat. It's cheap, it's easy, it makes you feel good for 5 minutes, and it'll kill you. It's not that different than wheat. Why wouldn't you smoke crack cocaine? And again, it comes down to your belief system. Because in your brain, in your subconscious mind, you have a file that says, things I will never do. Maybe skydiving's on that list.
Yeah.
But smoking crack cocaine's on that list. What's a belief you have? Everything you do, everything you touch, the clothes you're wearing, the car you drive, the person you married, is based on your beliefs. And if you have a belief that says crack cocaine is evil and vile and nasty and I'll never touch it, then you wake up every morning not worried about it.
Yeah.
Now, why can't we take wheat and put it in the same file as crack cocaine?
as just bad, toxic, not good for you.
It's bad for me. I can't digest it. It'll make me fat. It'll make me diabetic. It'll lead to an early grave. There's nothing about it I like other than it makes my mouth feel nice for 5 minutes.
Because
and it's addictive.
We hear patients say, I know it makes me feel bad. I know it gives me diarrhea. I know it gives me bloating, but I just don't have that willpower. So like you said, it's a total mindset change. I think the patients that are the most successful, they let go of that paradigm. They're willing to just throw it out in the trash and try it for a month. Be vulnerable and try it. And those are the patients that change long term.
We're afraid to be vulnerable, though.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's scary, and we're afraid of change. And like I said, we've built a prison and we're stuck in it, and it's very scary to step outside of that. But it is. It's no. So oftentimes we tell patients, don't give it up forever.
Yeah.
Just give up wheat for 4 weeks. Oh, maybe I can do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's finding room within your own brain, within your own belief system to say, I'm willing to re-examine it and see if it's really as valuable as I think it is. I would say this about your wheat or any food or any habit. Do it. If you're a smoker, go ahead and smoke. If you're a wheat eater, go ahead and eat the wheat. If you're a sugar lover, go ahead and eat the sugar. But do it mindfully. Meaning, as you do it, don't just assume, oh, this cigarette makes me relaxed or this wheat tastes so good. Really pay attention to how you feel. Do it consciously. And as you're eating the bread, monitor. Don't judge, just monitor yourself. How does this feel in my belly?
Yeah.
How does my body feel? How does my energy feel? How does my brain feel? And be willing to at least explore the possibility that the belief you have that bread is awesome may not be true.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's a good tip.
And once you start recognizing this stuff isn't as good as I thought it was. Do you ever give up something for a long time and then you're going to have it and you have it and you
get
go,
so excited. It was a letdown. Yeah, I mean, you could just always ask yourself, is this serving me? Is this bread working for me? And ask yourself honestly. And to add to that, I think bread is addicting, like we've talked about so many times. So
it is.
Right now, if you're eating bread and cereal and pasta, you might think, I can't give that up because it's truly addicting. And 9.9 times out of 10, patients will come back in and say, oh, once I got that out, I'm not addicted to it anymore. It doesn't sound good. So it seems intimidating at this time. If you're knee deep in wheat, it's a leap.
And I'm not discounting your reservation. I'm acknowledging the fact it's a tough leap. It's hard.
Heck yeah.
But I'm here to tell you, hundreds and thousands of other people have gone down this path with this simple thought. Well, I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to nail it the first time out. Just be willing, just be open to try something different. Just see how you feel. You might be surprised. Okay? There was a study that I told you about, this study that looked at, they had depressed people and they had normal, happy people. And they showed them pictures of happy things and puppies, and they showed them pictures of gloomy, sad, remorseful things, okay? And then they asked the people that didn't have mood disorder, which of those two groups of pictures do you want to see more of?
Yeah.
And of course, they want to see the happy pictures. It was interesting, when they asked the people that suffer with depression, which of those two groups of pictures do you want to see more of? They typically chose the sad pictures, the dark and gloomy sad pictures. And what the psychologists drew from that, or what the examiners of that study said, was these people understood depression. They lived in depression. They were comfortable there. They didn't enjoy it, but at least they knew what to expect.
Yeah.
Right? And they identified, part of their ego was, I'm a depressed person.
Wow.
And so when they saw the dark and gloomy pictures, they identified with it. It's almost like their personality, their ego said, yes, that's me.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm a sugar lover. Yes, that's me.
And looking at the happy pictures was foreign, and it made them feel uncomfortable.
Interesting.
And I think sometimes when we get addicted to our foods, we say, I am wheat, or I am sugar,
I love
or
bread.
I am, it's a part of me. It's who I am.
Yeah.
And we have to separate our ego and our emotions from that identification. If we become those foods mentally, it makes it really hard to kind of put them aside. So there's a
That's deep, Dr. Huber. That's deep. I like it. Woo!
Okay, come on back up now.
No, I like that. That's good.
I'm just saying that when we get into food and food changes, the mindset, the belief system
100% of it.
is a huge
No
part.
meal plan in the world will fix what's
So
in
this
between
is
the
great.
ears.
And you got to have the tools there. You got to have them ready.
Yep.
You got to have a plan, and you got to have some numbers, and you got to have a path. But at the end of the day, if you can't change the way you think about it, that's where the rubber meets the road.
And we got to bring up the big C word, convenience.
Oh.
So Dr. Huber, this is just not convenient. I can't. What would you tell? What would you tell me?
Well, it's just an old joke, but I say anytime somebody looks at me and says the convenient word, I say, wait a minute, restate that sentence, but change the word convenient for unhealthy, because I guarantee you, every time you say the word convenient, it equals unhealthy.
Convenient food.
All right?
Yeah.
Now, just the other day, somebody said, well, wait a minute, my daughter's in college and she needs quick grab and go foods that are convenient. I said, well, gee, a banana comes to mind, or nuts come to mind, or I said, these are smoked sausages. This is a protein with good healthy fat. There's no nitrites in this.
Yep.
This is convenient, right? I'm out the door. Yeah. So there are convenient grab and go foods that are healthy for us, but we have to train our eye and our brain to see them. And if our brain says convenient foods are always in a plastic wrapper, that's what we're going to search out. This kind of diet is not a challenge. I'm a very busy guy. I got 2 kids, I have a wife, I have a practice, I do volunteer work, I have all kinds of engagements. Yeah. Yet somehow I find this convenient. Okay? So it isn't that hard. No. It's learning it and applying it. And you're great with helping patients see quick, short, easy ways. You wrote a whole cookbook. And everything in the cookbook can be made in...
very easy, 10 minutes. It's very easy. 10 minutes, minimal ingredients that you can find at Kroger and not, crazy stores.
But it just takes a willingness to be willing to step into that.
Absolutely. Okay. So, to kind of summarize, we've got Keto kind of 101, the Keto cheat hacks. But more importantly, the mindset is everything.
And be willing to not be intimidated. Right? Yeah. Be willing to just step in and say, I'm going to do this. And I may fluff. Okay, big deal. Yeah. Nobody's perfect. Don't wait until you have it perfect to do it, because you'll never be perfect, and therefore you never do it. So the summary is, just jump in, start, get an idea about it, read about it, sit down with Chelsea and figure out your numbers. What marks are you trying to hit? These are some of the products. Again, Chelsea will give you a grocery shopping list. Get these things, now you have them at home. That's what I did. Yep. I went out and bought shredded coconut, and I bought almond flour, and I have all these things in my kitchen, and then you give them tons of recipes, and they're off to the races.
Fat bombs, chocolate pudding.
We
can make it happen.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Chris, we got any inquiries?
Questions?
We sure do. All right. So, first up, speaking about fat intake specifically, how does it affect your cholesterol?
Ta-da!
We've already answered that one. Next. So, the disconnect is you've been taught your whole life that fat is bad and fat makes your cholesterol go up. That wasn't true in 1950. It wasn't true in 1980. It was completely disproven in 1995. So you've been following the Easter Bunny your whole life, that cholesterol causes heart attacks and that fats cause cholesterol to go up. It was a myth. It was never proven to be true and has been disproven again and again. And you're in the majority, by the way. You're in the majority.
We get this question asked almost every day, by the way.
Every day.
Almost every day.
So if my body can burn carbs or fat, now I'm going to choose to burn carbs. I'm going to have bread and all these carbs. What's my body going to do with all this fat? It's not going to burn it. Your body's going to store it. If I eat carbs, my body says carbs are easy to break down. They create pollution and toxins, but they're easy to break down. So I'm just going to store all this fat. So your cholesterol goes up, your triglycerides go up, your pant size goes up, okay? Because your body says, oh, carbs are easy, I'll store the fat. What happens when we say, oh, no carbs, only fat? Oh, awesome, well, let's burn this fat. Your body is more capable and happier, your brain is happier, your heart is happier when it's burning fat as fuel. If you don't give it the carb option, it has to burn the fat. What is cholesterol? It's fat. What are triglycerides? They're fat. What is your belly? It's fat. And so as you burn fat, fat goes away. All right?
In comes Bob.
Bob the Blob. 5 pounds of fat. No, it's not real. 5 pounds of fat, but that's really what it represents. And I had a woman come in today, and she had lost 30 pounds, 6 of these.
It's amazing. Yeah.
In 2 months, and she was disappointed that her weight loss wasn't more. Are you kidding me?
That's
you lost 6 of these?
Yeah.
She's doing awesome. She's doing awesome. So once again, mindset affected it. But if you can burn this as fuel, it doesn't accumulate in your body, and you become lean and your cholesterol drops. But it's a great question. Comes up all the time.
And Dr. Huber, you recently posted something on our Facebook about the American Heart Association and their position on coconut oil. So go ahead and read that article. Scroll down on our Facebook page.
Go on our Facebook page. It was a funny guy that was doing a tongue-in-cheek satire about how the American Heart Association says coconut oil was bad.
Yeah.
But look at his video. It's hysterical and it's on point and accurate. Coconut oil in every study has been shown to be beneficial. When we look at, first of all, so this ketogenic diet's been around for almost 100 years.
Long time.
And in all the studies we look at, cholesterol goes down, blood sugar goes down, weight goes down, blood pressure, everything goes down.
Yeah.
So there's ample literature to show that that's a good solution. There's equal literature showing that when we carbs, in every study, in every parameter we look at, whether we're looking at blood sugar or hemoglobin A1C or triglycerides or cholesterol or heart disease, it goes up. You were around, if you lived through the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, what did you see? We took the fat out of
Fat-free
everything,
nation.
right?
Fat-free fat.
Fat-free ice cream, fat-free Pringles, fat-free fat.
Yeah,
And what happened?
fat-free fat.
We got fat, and we got diabetic, right? You watched it happen.
The big fat lie.
The big fat lie.
The big fat lie.
So, good question, but it's been answered again and
we
again
could have
and again.
a whole talk on that. Just
Yeah.
cholesterol in itself.
Yeah.
Cholesterol myth.
Truly.
Yeah.
All right, I probably belabored that one, but that's an important point. Go ahead, Chris.
So it might sound a little redundant at this point, but how soon or how quickly could I start seeing results of this diet, and specifically speaking on cholesterol levels?
Well, I think cholesterol levels, it can vary, but typically, like in our corporate program, we see a dramatic change in 6 months. I mean, we see triglyceride numbers slash in half.
Well,
And
that's measuring 6
Sure.
months apart.
yes, but it could be
People
sooner.
come in reporting change in 2-3 weeks.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, I would say, and you could let me know what you think, but I mean, within 3 or 4 months, I think you could see cholesterol numbers start to go down, don't you think? Or maybe even sooner.
Oh,
You
much
think
sooner.
much sooner.
So my wife is an
okay,
ApoE4, right?
Yep.
ApoE4s don't metabolize fat as well. And so I put her on a ketogenic diet, and we did it very scientifically. We measured all of her lipid markers on this day. She started the diet the next day, and then we measured again in exactly 4 weeks.
Okay.
And her
And it went down.
triglycerides and her LDL and everything went boom, down. And hers weren't that high to begin with, but being an ApoE4, she was having some challenges, all right? All we changed was diet. We didn't change anything else in her program. It dropped like crazy.
In just 4
I
weeks?
did the the ketogenic diet. This goes back many months. But in the first 2 weeks, I used calipers just to measure belly fat, gives me an idea of where I am.
Oh, yeah.
I went down 2 millimeters in my abdominal reading inside of 2 weeks. So how long does it take to see change? Again, we suggest a gradual progression over 2, 3, 4 weeks into keto, not an overnight. But I was already pretty paleo, so I jumped in pretty quick. I would expect, and I would almost be willing to guarantee you, that if you truly went into a ketogenic diet over the course of 4 weeks, and we checked the lipid number at day 1 and at day 28, you would see a change. You would see an improvement that fast, and you would see weight loss that
Oh, yeah,
fast.
for sure, weight loss.
Okay? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's quick. It's quick. The body
body's
needs a
resilient.
little time to make that shift, but it does not take long. It does
doesn't wanna
not
hold
take
on to
more
that
than a
fat.
month. No. What else you got, Chris?
The Keto Rash. Tell me a little bit about how to treat that.
So that was a question that came back before we even started this, and kind of that detox rash. I've seen that, and patients will, if they're on a high sugar diet and then totally go off it, they can have a little bit of a rash.
Yeah.
Was there a specific question about it, or was just tell us about it?
Specifically, how can we treat it? How can we
can
deal
How you
with
treat
once
it?
we get it?
It's a detox reaction. That's what's
Yeah.
happening. So people that carry more fat, I don't know how big you are, but people that carry more fat, we store our toxins in our fat. On a ketogenic diet, you start burning up fat cells. You start emptying the contents, and so you're going through a detox.
Get rid of those toxins.
You're moving those toxins out of your body, and for some people, that can create a bit of a skin reaction. Your skin is one of your detox organs. Your liver, your kidneys, your lungs, your skin. These are all detox organs, and so some of that is just detoxification. Ways, depending on whether most people, they just have a symptom-free redness, right? That doesn't itch, it doesn't bother them. It's just a red rash. Okay, big deal. It'll pass. If you want to facilitate that, we would tend to do things that increase liver metabolism. So anything that increases phase 1, phase 2 detox in the liver, things like milk thistle, N-acetylcysteine, glycine, crucera, cinnulin.
Vitamins.
B vitamins can help, magnesium can help. There's a ton of simple elements, very safe, herbal and mineral for the most part, that would facilitate your detox process and would make that go away faster. It's not risky, it's not going to hurt you, it's not going to scar you. It's just alarming when you look down and go, whoa, okay?
This is keto diet.
But for the most part, it ends up being an innocuous nuisance and nothing more.
All right, so last question. I love all of this information. Can you tell me why I should come see you for more other potential issues that I may have, or to just learn more about the keto diet? What services
Sure.
do you offer here?
So from a nutrition standpoint, this is very, I mean, this was just the tip of the iceberg. It's about how we execute this. You've got 3 kids and they're in soccer, and how do you make this happen? And I can definitely help with that. Come up with breakfast, lunch, and dinner ideas. If you go out to restaurants, we'll look at the menu. I mean, it's not just here's a list of eat this, it's how to implement this. And like Dr. Huber said, truly a step-by-step progression. You just don't dive into this. Medically, though, there's other things that you can see Dr. Huber for.
Well, and it's interesting because I'm a geek, I'm a science-based, love the literature, and I read through it. So I've been reading about the ketogenic diet for over a year, and kind of, getting more and more curious about it because the literature just kept getting more and more robust. So here I am, a literature geek and a science buff, and I'm reading all this stuff, and I go, wow, this is a difference maker. I got to try this. I knew all about the physiology of a ketogenic diet, but now I wanted to do it. And I've said this to many people. I'm like, where the hell do I start? What do I just start chugging olive oil? So the idea of how am I going to get all this fat? That's why we want to do this today. We want to give you an idea of how does this really look as you begin to piece it together. Here's the thing that I get concerned about. I can go on the internet and I can read all different versions of a ketogenic diet. I can read Bill's version and Sam's version and Betty's version, and there's so many different versions out there. And a lot of these people, I'm not going to be, I'm not saying other people don't know what they're doing. I'm saying there's a lot of opinion out there that's not based in science. Some of it is dangerous. Some of it makes crazy recommendations like just take ketones. You can actually take ketone pills. And if you're anywhere close to type 2 diabetes and if you're type 1 diabetic, you need some medical oversight. If you're not diabetic and you still want to jump in, I've seen recommendations that you should eat 90% of your calories from fat, and you should really limit vegetables because they're heavy in carbs. That's a ridiculous statement. So there are ridiculous versions out there of a ketogenic diet. What I think we offer is somebody that wants some guidance, wants to get up and running quickly, wants medically vetted literature that keeps them safe, and this is not something just willy-nilly throw on the wall. Because people can do things, and you hear things like the Keto Flu, right? They get feeling really crappy because they did it too aggressively, they didn't protect themselves, and they end up with this detox reaction that makes you feel really lousy. I'm not saying that you can't, as an intelligent person, read good information and put it into action. Mark Sisson's book, The 21-Day Keto Reset, it's a great start. I recommend it to patients. Even having read Mark's book, I was stuck on day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of, okay, how do I do this exactly? So
and we have a little difference in even our version versus Mark's version. Just a little different. So.
And again, it's all based on success patterns and reducing toxicities, and that's what we're good at. So that's, we're there to help, and like Chelsea said, we're also going to look at you from a more global picture. If you're wanting to do a ketogenic diet, maybe there are other issues we need to look at, hormones or thyroid or adrenals or sleep and stress. So we want to provide a well-rounded recovery.
Or we get the patient that's maybe coming in already on keto for 2 months and they haven't lost a pound. Something's wrong there.
We've heard that story too.
Something's wrong there, and you usually go fishing and you find hormones and thyroid and cortisol issues, and we uncover that.
So that's what we do.
Well, I think that wraps us
up for the day. No more questions? I didn't inspire any more curiosity. No, I'm kidding. I hope this was helpful. We're gonna do more detail on this. We're gonna branch off into some of the other topics we broached already. I don't even know what our next topic's going to be.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah, we're gonna surprise you. We'll have something out later today or tomorrow on what we're gonna do next week. Hey, I hope this was helpful. And once again, Chelsea, Caito, Dr. Gary Huber, if you're interested in trying the Kirkman's enzyme, if you're interested in trying Carb Down, contact our office. 15% off those products. If you just mentioned this video, just mention this is where you saw it. We're happy to have you try that. We'll give you a little discount on your trial. Okay? Any other thoughts?
No, that's it.
See ya.
Toodles.